So there are two parts to this journey. She marries in a helicopter and flying in a headwind. And so here's the distance she flies in the headwind, and she's experiencing a 35 miles per hour headwind. On the return trip, do that one in green, there's 702 miles, again with the same tailwind. So we're going to look to the end of the equation and say there's the speed of our helicopter. So the speed of the helicopter we're going to label as x. And that means that when the speed when she is traveling with a headwind is going to be slower. It's going to be the speed of the helicopter minus 35 miles per hour. And the speed at which she's flying with a tailwind, in other words, the wind is helping her, is going to be x plus 35. So we're letting x be the speed of the helicopter. Now what we know is that when she's has a headwind, the distance she's traveling is 450 miles. And when she's got the tailwind, it's 702 miles. So what links these two situations? Well, it's the time. What do we know about the time? The time is the same. So the time she travels with the headwind has to equal the time she travels with the tailwind. And we know from our physics equations that time is distance over speed. So the time of the headwind is the speed of the headwind, the distance of the headwind, going one step too quickly, distance of the headwind divided by the speed of the headwind. And the time for the tailwind is the distance of the tailwind, so 702, divided by the speed of the tailwind, which is x plus 35. So here I've got a classic rational equation. So I'm going to clear the fraction by multiplying everything by the lowest common denominator, which is x minus 35 times x plus 35. When I multiply it on the left side of the equation, it leaves me with 450 times x plus 35, and on the right side of the equation, it's 702 times x minus 35. Multiplying the coefficients into the bracket on both sides, I have 450x plus 15,750 equals 702x minus 24,570. So I'm going to collect the variable x on the right side, which means I'm going to subtract 450 from both sides of the equation. So that leaves me 702 minus 450 is 252x. And I'm going to move this guy over to the other side by adding it. So that leaves me with 4320. Last step is to divide both sides by 252. And that gives me x equals 160. And our units, it's an American textbook, so there's lots of miles per hour.